Wow, look at this package. I always tend to open everything way too fast, so I can't do like any reaction videos. But this time, because this package looks so cool, I figured I would do a video. What do we got? Oh! Time to replay this classic! I never played 8, so now I can play 8, I guess. And they've been re-releasing or remastering or doing whatever all the Final Fantasy games for the Switch. So 7, 8, I think they have I know they have one for 9 and for 12 and for 10 and for 10-2. So yeah. Woo! Welcome back to Search for Mighty Max. This is the episode called P1 Push Start. This is the episode where me and my brother search for, find, and talk about video games. So in the previous episode, I went through all the Zelda games that I have because I have such fond memories of playing all those games. And growing up, we had a Nintendo because my mom had bought a Nintendo. One of the first games that she bought was The Legend of Zelda, which is fantastic. She had played that game, drawn up some maps for us, made it a lot easier. Because that game, when you're little, it's not easy, right? So using the maps that we had, being able to explore everywhere with knowing some of those hints and tricks, I think really helped us. So I always associate Nintendo and playing Zelda with my mom. Back here, I have this puzzle that I had my mom put together for me. That's a map of Hyrule. Super awesome. And then I also have this Legend of Zelda poster thing over here. I actually bought that recently in a video game shop. I was just kind of looking around. A lot of the games are kind of on the pricey end nowadays. So I ended up just walking out with that. But I think it was a good purchase because it looks cool on my wall. Growing up, we had a original Nintendo that we could play. Our grandmother had a Super Nintendo, so we played Super Nintendo stuff there. We had some family in a city that's pretty nearby that we would play the Sega on, but we didn't really get a chance to play too much Sega. And then the other thing that we got was a PlayStation. Now, my brothers always tell this story because I suck. And it was the only time that I peeked at a Christmas present. And I don't remember if it was the actual console or the game. I feel like it was a game that we saw, which meant like, oh shoot, there's a PlayStation game that I just peeked at. We're probably getting a PlayStation console. So I peeked at the presents. I told my brothers, I was like, bros, we are getting a PlayStation because I know you guys have to know now and share the pain of me already knowing. So we have to pretend on Christmas morning that we didn't know what we were getting. So we got a PlayStation, and that's what kind of opened our eyes to a different type of gaming style. For me, PlayStation was kind of like more mature games. I know that we started off with some of the games that we got were actually over here on the side. But one of them that I don't have is A Bug's Life from the Pixar movie. I don't even remember if we actually beat that game because Hopper was super hard at the end of that game. But Bug's Life was one of the games we had. Cool Borders 3 started getting into some of the sports games. So Cool Borders 3 I put a lot of time in. I never played 1, 2, or 4 or whatever else is after that. The Cool Borders 3 was my jam. Played that all the time. Same thing with Tony Hawk Pro Skater. We played that with like all our friends and our brothers. So that game was super fun. Frogger over there put a lot of hours in. Actually, me and my mom were playing that game a lot because it's not like that old like Atari or game cabinet version. It's super hard. Like you got to be super quick or you're gonna get run over by a lawnmower or whatever it was. But that game's super fun. And then I also got a copy of a Tomb Raider there. I got that recently. I never played any of the Tomb Raider games, but they look kind of fun. So I picked up the first one. A couple of these games I got the black labels, but a couple of them I got the green label, the greatest hits label, right? But that's okay. I mean, really, with all these games, it's all about, is it playable? Can I play it? Is it still fun to play? Will I play it? So whatever condition or whatever, type it was, all fine by me. I know there is a level of collectability to these things, which is that's fine too. I mean, whatever looks cool on the shelf, that's all part of it too. But really, when I get down to it, I want to make sure that I have a game that I can play and a system that I have, so I can put that game in that system and I can play it, right? So Final Fantasy. So it's funny, when I first set up for this video, I was like, I feel like I'm missing something. 7, 8, 9, 10. And I was like, oh yeah, 3/6 was actually on the Super Nintendo. What the heck? How did that even happen? So we got super lucky growing up, because Final Fantasy 3 was one of my favorite games to ever play. So different, right? The JRPGs, I was like, who are all these people and these characters and what's happening? And I have to the world gets destroyed halfway through the game, and then I have to keep playing, like figure things out. Like, holy crap. If you never play a Final Fantasy 3 or 6, then you are absolutely missing out. So in America, it was called 3. But in Japan and the rest of the world, it was number 6. So this is the original game. I just have the cartridge. And then I ended up getting this hack homebrew version of it, this modded version of it, that actually has a better translation. And when I played this version, man, the storyline made a lot more sense. Like the story between the two brothers, Sabin and Edgar, made a lot more sense. And there's some other stuff. The sprites aren't censored, because everything's censored in America, because that's just how America works. They're like, we don't want you to enjoy how this game was an intentional... like, America's like, we don't want you to enjoy how this game was originally designed. Like, why would you want that? Like, what the hell, America? So definitely recommend a more accurately translated copy of it. This was one of them. This is actually super cool. I'm actually going to open this up so I can show you, because it's got a white cartridge, and then it's got some cool designs on the inside. People are so creative. And yeah, that was definitely a good purchase. So I played that version, and it was way better and way more fun. And I was like, man, dude, this is definitely the way to play it. Okay, so I got Final Fantasy 7 over there, with Cloud with his big old sword on the front. Super cool. And then 8 and 9, me and my brother Kevin, we found those games at a swap meet, picked those up. Actually haven't played them yet, but someday, hopefully I will. And then we got Final Fantasy X over here. That starts to get into the PS2 world. But before I start talking about that, I wanted to mention these re-releases here. So if I can grab these. All right, so they re-released these games on the Switch. So Final Fantasy 7 and 8, because I really want to replay 7 again. And then I had never heard of Crisis Core for Final Fantasy 7. That's like the prequel, and focused specifically on like Zack and his storyline, which that's rad. Yeah, I want to see that story. So the storyline was actually pretty cool. Cloud does pop up in it for a second, but it's a relatively short game. So the story, very cool to see like what happened before 7, and then yeah, it's just a short game, but it was still fun. And then yeah, I eventually wanted to play Final Fantasy 7 again. And the reason for that is because I have gone to Japan twice in my life. One was for a foreign exchange program. The other time was for me to get an English as a second language certificate. And then I was supposed to go a third time, working for the Japanese consulate and teaching English, but I had just recently graduated with a degree in psychology. So I felt like I needed to stay in the States and get like an actual real job. But at the time, because I thought I was going to go, I was playing Final Fantasy 7 again. And I was still kind of at the beginning of it. I was like trying to put myself in the mind state, like, okay, I'm going to Japan. I got to like freshen up on my speaking Japanese, because I had studied that. And trying to just get myself ready to go back to Japan and live there for a year and maybe longer. But I ended up deciding against it, to stay here. I like my career now, so I think I made the right choice. so, um, uh, so that kind of takes me to these two random things, actually, because I had gone to Japan twice, and I never came back with any crazy action figures or anything. And I thought, man, what a missed opportunity, you know? Um, so I started looking online for some stuff, and this is kind of random because normally you watch a show and then you get the figures and different things associated with it, right? I like that show, I'm going to buy the action figure. For these ones, it was kind of the opposite. And by kind of, I mean it was the opposite. So I had found this figure called Panty from the show called Panty and Stocking with Garter Belt. And it wasn't listed for too much. And I thought, sweet, yeah, I'll pick that up. That looks pretty interesting and inappropriate. Yeah, let's grab it. So came in and I was like, cool, rad, all right. And then I ended up finding and watching the show because I figured, shoot, I have this figure, but I don't even know what the show is about, right? So I started watching the show, and it was kind of like you know, like in Cowboy Bebop, the translation for English is like pretty good, right? Like you can watch that show in English. As somebody who studied Japanese, I tend to watch like anime and different things in Japanese because it just like, I don't know, it hits harder, I guess. The Japanese actors and actresses, like it's their, you know, it's kind of like this thing, right? It's the native language. It's in order to translate it appropriately, it just sounds better in Japanese. So normally with anime, that's usually how I watch them. But with Cowboy Bebop and with Panty and Stocking with Garter Belt, it's like as good or maybe better in English. And in this show, they're like cursing and being all crazy and ridiculous, and it's just so funny to me. So I had Panty, and I watched the show, and I thought, shoot, I got to get the other like co-star for that show, and that was Stocking. So they are slightly different in who made them. So this one's made by Sega, what it says on the back, and then this one's made by Alter. And I was trying to match these. Like I was like, oh, I got the Alter one. I should probably get the other Alter version, but they are not cheap. I don't know how I got this one for so cheap. But me and my girlfriend were visiting a toy show one time, and I saw this, and it was put up there on the top of the shelf. And it was listed for $300. And I was like, holy crap, that is absolutely not what I spent on that when I bought it. It was like 50 or below. And then when I look at the other one, for Panty, for this that was made by Alter, it's like up there too in the hundreds. I'm like, shoot. And the figure is like, the boxes aren't the same size, and the figure's kind of turned around. And it still looks really good, but the price tag and the way that it just looks, I was like, shoot, I just need like a different option, you know? So I found this one where the character's facing forward, and I thought, shoot, that's affordable. I'll just pick that one up. So it was like the same price as this one, I think, and then I picked it up, and now I got both of them. So booyah. I do have one random anime out here called Baki the Grappler. That is a super cool show. There's the strongest person in the world is Baki's dad. So Baki's dad, Yujiro, is the strongest person in the world, and then Baki's trying to get as strong as his dad, or even stronger, so he could beat him. So that's like the whole storyline. And it's crazy because that came out in 2001, and then 2018, which is almost like 20 years, right? They continue the story. So Netflix Netflix made a deal, and they continued the story on Netflix, which was awesome to see that like so many years later. They ended up finishing the story, ended up on a note of like, okay, well that's where it ends for now. Maybe there'll be more later, but it was good to just kind of see how that story kind of ended. So that's Baki the Grappler. So let's see, what was I talking about? So we got PlayStation, we got some inappropriate action figures, which are awesome. We got Final Fantasy over here, jumping from Super Nintendo to go to PlayStation, and then PS2. Boom, Final Fantasy X, got it right there. Haven't played it, but I totally could if I wanted to, because I got a PS2 and I got the game. Some other game series on the PS2, because I remember borrowing this from my brother Kevin. He had a PS2. I played some games on it. Two of the franchises that I really liked were Devil May Cry and The Matrix. So Devil May Cry is that half demon kind of guy, and there's another kind of brotherly thing going on there in the games with Dante, who's the main guy, and Virgil, who's his brother. Yeah, so pretty interesting story. Final Fantasy was always about like, here's all these multiple crazy characters and you can play as all of them and you're trying to make a team and do this and that. JRPGs are freaking crazy. So to go back and play a game which is like, okay, I'm playing as Dante. I'm just the main character. That's what I'm doing. Just made it a lot easier, right? So they have some pretty cool weapons in there. I remember he's got some revolvers. It's got a sword. And then in the Devil May Cry 3, which is actually a prequel to the first one, you get some pretty sweet nunchucks. So, what? Nunchucks in the video game? Who's not going to play that game? And then, unfortunately, Devil May Cry 2 kind of sucks, so I never played it. And then I did play 4. I think there's a 5th one that's out. Yeah, there's a 5th one that's out, and then there was like a spin-off that I never played for PS4 or PS5 or something like that. So that's a good series. 1 and 3 I got for the PS2, though. The Matrix. So I got Path of Neo. That one's super fun. It kind of has like a spin-off version of the movie, which the movie is great, right? Like I'm pretty sure that was like my first R-rated movie that I was able to go into back in '99. I went with like a friend and his mom bought the tickets and I was like, yeah, rated R, it's gonna be awesome. Little did I know that it was gonna be like as big as it was. Like what a crazy ass movie, right? So Path of Neo, it takes like a little bit of variance away from the movie. So like for example, when he's trying to escape from the agents in the building he's in, he gets captured, right, in the movie. But in the game, you actually sneak out the window and you get the hell out of Dodge. So it's just like a little bit different than the movie. And then Enter the Matrix, I really don't remember how far I got in that game. Like I don't remember if I actually ever beat it. But Path of Neo was super cool. And now I have both of them. And they're shiny. Can't go wrong with these shiny games. Freaking Legend of Zelda has all the gold shiny. But here we got the Matrix with the green shiny. So we got these green shiny covers, which are super cool. And did I already say I got these recently? So I haven't had a chance to play those yet. Whoa. Yeah, so what was I saying? Just to recap here. PlayStation, more mature kind of games for us, at least for me. That was my interpretation. They seem a little bit older. For older gamers, Nintendo was always kind of kiddie, and there's nothing wrong with that because I freaking love playing Nintendo still. But PlayStation just felt a little bit more adult to me. With the characters and the themes and just different things for those games. So I pulled up these figures because I thought that would kind of seem a little bit more adult to me. So I wanted to throw that in here. Same with Baki the Grappler and some of those anime. It was just all part of growing up, right? So with Zelda, we had May the Way of the Hero lead to the Triforce, which was super fun, trying to explore and try to find different things. That's a quote from Link to the Past, trying to find all the maidens. And then we got Limit Break with all the Final Fantasy games. So when you take enough damage, then you get to have like this super cool move. And then boom, there you go. You get to use your special move and use your Limit Break. And then hopefully you can deal some damage on whatever boss is giving you a hard time, right? So what's more adult than that? So yeah, what else can I say? Video games are fun. Hopefully I keep playing them. Hopefully I can, set aside time. And even though I'm an adult and doing adult stuff and working way too much and way too long and way too hard, it's nice to just have a collection of some retro stuff that I can just, pop in and start playing. I'm in between games right now, trying to decide what I want to play. There's a couple things coming out on the Switch that I'm kind of interested in. And I played most of these games, but some of these Final Fantasy ones I haven't played yet, so I definitely could pop those in and start doing that. And that would be incredibly time consuming. So it's always like the good, bad thing, right? Like, hey, this game will last for a while, good play value. But then I got to set aside that time to actually play it. Woe is me, right? So anyhow, Hopefully you enjoyed seeing the PS1 games, PS2 games, the Final Fantasy stuff, these random figures, and me talking about my relationship to kind of Japanese language, Japanese stuff, and where I'm coming from. So, boom, here we go, PlayStation stuff. And I want to keep talking even though I have nothing else to say, because this stuff is just cool and I'm just looking around and I'm like, yeah, this is dope. Need to get a gaming shelf, man. Like I got my I put a curtain up, some action figures are over here. I wanted to focus on the games and not be distracted by action figures. But shoot, I need to get a gaming station to put all this stuff together. So hopefully I can do that in the future. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So web's out. Peace out.